My son, they had one card that he bought. So she would have a card for her and these children.
He was able to buy that card because he claimed me and my child on his tax.
But it don't do no good if you don't work, stay on welfare and food stamps.
You know,
all right.
When I got back home, within those first week or two, we had sex like 4 or 5 times a day.
So you had it in your mind that if I get my wife pregnant, she'll stop stripping.
Kind of like how she just said, I'm gonna strip and I'm gonna do whatever I want, that's what I'm gonna do. I said, oh really? Okay, I'll give you a 9-month break on me. I mean, so.
Things kicked off wild, and it only got crazier from there. She's certain his denial is all because of his girlfriend's influence. This sounds simple, but trust me, it's anything but.
Ms. Caples, you say you are 100% certain that the defendant is your 15-month-old son, Jason's biological father, and today he's going to put his name on the dotted line right in front of his girlfriend.
The relationship status was about as confusing as it could get. You'd think things would be easy after that, but wait till you hear what's next.
What was the nature of this relationship?
To be completely honest, Your Honor, me and Mr. Harris, we were never in a relationship. Let's clarify that now. We were just sleeping together. That's pretty much it.
Were you in another relationship?
No, I was not, no.
No, I wasn't.
You find out you're pregnant. Obviously, you weren't using protection if there's a question that he's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
And right when you thought you'd figured it out, another guy pops into the story. Miss Caples admits she did date someone else, but it was after she got pregnant with Jason. This timeline is all over the place.
So who's this other guy that was in the picture?
After me and Mr. Harris were done and over with.
You were already pregnant at the point you started dating the other man?
Correct. And I have an exhibit if I could show you.
Absolutely. Please step over to the podium.
Thank you. As you can see, my son Jason was born January 9th, 2016. Me and Mr. Harris were intimate for 9 months, all the way up until May, the beginning of May.
If you thought things were weird before, now it's exhibit a time. But Mr. Harris is like, maybe? Since he was apparently seeing other women too and doesn't remember the exact dates. I mean, could this case get any messier?
Mr. Harris, if you don't remember whether or not you were with her, is it because you were involved more than one woman? So that's why you really can't say for certain who you were with on what date. Now, Ms. Caples, I have to ask you, were you involved with more than one man?
No, I was not, and he did not tell me that he was dealing with other women while me and him were talking. So I did not know that he was playing the
Men usually don't tell you. They want to keep
She
getting
went through my phone and text other women back.
This part, total shocker. Just when you think you've heard it all, the story somehow gets even more awkward.
When we contacted Mr. Harris and told him that Ms. Shatera Caples summoned him for a DNA test, he said, I don't know who you're talking about. I said, Muffin?
That is correct.
I'm pretty sure I told him my name. Would you remember Shantira or would you remember Muffin? Would I go by around town?
If you having sex for that many months with the same person
Well,
without using any protection, you gotta at least know their name.
Just when it seems like it can't get worse, we learn Mr. Harris wasn't there when Jason was born. You'd think things couldn't get more uncomfortable, but oh, they do.
Did he get to come to the delivery room?
He didn't have a ride, Your Honor.
He didn't have a ride?
Have a ride to the
No, I was at
hospital.
the work when she delivered the baby. The next morning I came up there and I looked at him. He didn't look like me at all.
No, he does
and
not.
I had my doubt. I had been had my doubts, but like I say, everybody around town says that she goes around saying it's another guy's baby.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I did not.
Because you did not want to, or you were not even asked?
And here's where the cringe hits max level, as if things weren't heated enough already.
Hold on, what is this about the hospital room, Ms. Caples?
She was undergoing surgery, getting ready to have my tubes tied.
That is my job.
Your Honor, as a woman, I would not want to be in a room with a woman that's having my boyfriend's baby.
Okay, so you were the patient. You work at the hospital, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then that was where they told you your station or where you were supposed to be? You were assigned to that?
Today, we got our stuff to do. Yes, ma'am.
Things got intense as Mr. Harris admits he wasn't so sure Jason was his son, thanks to rumors and Miss Caples' comments. Now, everyone's on edge to see if he's the dad or not.
Have I heard all your doubts, Mr. Harris?
A lot of people around town telling me it's not mine. Let's say that's her words.
People are telling you if he's not yours, then she even says he's not yours.
Keep pushing me away while I'm trying to be there for the child.
But you don't think
it's
he's
kind
yours,
of like he's not.
So why would I keep? That's why I don't want to include you.
That's the reason
one minute
for
you
that.
don't think he's yours.
All right, that's what we're here to solve today.
Right.
That's exactly why this courtroom exists.
The moment finally arrived and the tension was through the roof. Judge Lake reads the DNA results. Mr. Harris is not Jason's father, but Judge Lake isn't done with them just yet. She's got some parting wisdom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Harris, you are not the father.
Thank you.
This case kicks off with a wild claim. Ms. Bailey, along with her daughter, is suing Mr. Parker, her daughter's estranged husband, for a cool $3,691.50 in childcare costs. And believe me, it only gets crazier from here.
Ms. Bailey, you and your daughter are suing the defendant for $3,691.50 in childcare expenses. Mr. Parker is your daughter's estranged husband, and he denies paternity of your 4-month-old grandson. You claim he hasn't even given your daughter a single penny towards your grandson's expenses.
Here's where it starts getting juicy. Ms. Bailey says Mr. Parker ditched her daughter when she was 16 weeks pregnant, leaving her to fend for herself without any help. And trust me, the accusations only get weirder from here.
For my daughter or my grandson, he left her when she was 16 weeks pregnant, didn't look back, and he is living his life without responsibility. I'm the baby's father. I provide for the baby. He's living the way he wants to. And my daughter is going to college. She's working on her 2nd degree, not her first, but her 2nd degree.
Now things are heating up. Mr. Parker claims Ms. Bailey's daughter neglected him, saying she refused to feed him and made him feel worthless. And guess what? Drama's just getting started.
The last few days there, Your Honor, she told me that I wasn't worth nothing. I was not allowed to eat, that I was not allowed to be a part of this family.
That's a lie. He wanted her to cook separate meals besides the meal that she cooked for the family. He wanted special food, and in these days and time, that is very hard.
I wanted him to grow up instead of being a child like he was with grandparents and with his mother.
Just when you think it can't get any stranger, Mr. Parker claims Ms. Bailey's daughter put a padlock on their bedroom door to keep him out. But wait till you hear what Mr. Parker says next.
That's the lock on the bedroom door that I came home to one day.
You put a lock on your bedroom door?
I did.
Ms. Parker, why?
Because all the Christmas presents were in there, and I have an 8-year-old. I'm not going to let him go in there and see what he's getting for Christmas because he still believes in Santa.
Then why did when I asked you so I could go in there and go in the bedroom?
You didn't have anything left in there.
If you thought it couldn't get any wilder, Mr. Parker insists he was kept off the baby's birth certificate, which he says proves she's hiding something. And just when you think you've heard it all, Mr. Parker's mom steps in.
Are you two still married?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ooh.
It shows where I was not even registered as a father, and in my state, if you were married, you were supposed to be automatically be put on the birth certificate of the child.
You're presumed to be the father of any child born within your marriage.
And this is a federal document that shows that she lied to the doctors, lied to the hospital, and lied to me.
It's family drama time as Charlotte Perez, Mr. Parker's mom, testifies, accusing Ms. Bailey's daughter of leaving Mr. Parker at her house anytime she needed a break. Judge Lake's patience is about to be seriously tested.
My son, they had one car that he bought, so she would have a car for her and these children.
He was able to buy that car because he claimed me and my child on his tax.
But it don't do no good if you don't work, stay on welfare and food stamps.
You know
All right.
This whole scene has turned into pure chaos, and Judge Lake has had enough. You won't believe what's about to happen next.
Do you believe Zachariah is your son's child?
The way she did everything about this child's birth and the way she would get up and take off while he was trying to sleep, I don't really know. He don't need to be tied to her for 18 years. But if it is his child, we've already got a lawyer and paying it to file for custody.
Well, that's not going to happen.
It'll be a cold day in hell before y'all in custody of my child.
The big reveal is here, folks.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Parker.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are his father.
I told you.
Told you.
This whole thing kicks off with Ms. Richardson coming in strong, saying she and Mr. Smith were all in, trying to have a baby on purpose. Buckle up, folks. This one's gonna be a ride.
Ms. Richardson, you say you were in an exclusive relationship with Mr. Smith and even tried to have a baby together. But after you conceived your daughter, Kalani, Mr. Smith started denying your baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
You intend to prove he is the father today.
Okay, things get even crazier as Ms. Richardson says Mr. Smith actually begged her to have a baby with him because he thought he might not live long. This wild story is just getting started, and believe it or not, it's about to get even wilder.
Around the time we were together for about 8 months, he had told me he was in a situation where he didn't know if he were going to live a long time, so he had said he wanted a child with me. Me being young and dumb and I was actually in love with him, I agreed on it. We were together. I had left Job Corps, which he was still in. I left on the 28th. On the 31st, I had sent for him to come in town for the weekends.
Judge Lake has zero chill and jumps in right away to give Ms. Richardson some real talk. You just know the judge is about to drop even more truth bombs.
You cannot have babies by everybody you feel like you fall in love with. I can see, we about 3 minutes in, and I can see that you decided you had fallen in love with him And from there on, everything you heard come out his mouth, because he stood right here and the second thing out of his mouth was, I really wasn't trying to be with her that long, but if we wanted to have a baby and she wanted to do it, okay. Everything is so nonchalant.
Things go from sweet to awkward real fast. Ms. Richardson says she told Mr. Smith she was pregnant, and he was way too quiet on the phone. He kind of mumbled that he wanted to see the pregnancy test, but had doubts from day one, even though he says he was excited. Mr. Smith explains his mixed feelings, while Ms. Richardson says there was no way she cheated. Drama alert.
What was his reaction?
He was quiet on the phone and he had asked to see the pregnancy test.
And so, Mr. Smith, when you got this news that she was pregnant, was it the news you wanted to hear? Were you excited about having a baby?
I actually was excited.
At what point do you feel doubtful then?
Well, I was doubtful at the first.
You were?
Yes, I was.
And now, Mr. Smith's twin sister, Brianna, steps in to pour some fuel on the fire. Things just got real messy.
She would say stuff that would make him feel even more like Kalani's not his daughter. I would hear voicemails. I would see messages.
And what did these voicemails say?
She was upset at him. She just was saying how Kalani was sitting. She was with another dude and she was smiling and she was happy about the person, basically insinuating. Yeah.
Looked just like her.
Oh, here's a twist. Enter Mr. Brock, the godfather, who's here to set things straight, or at least try to. But don't worry, it's about to get even more awkward.
What is your relationship exactly with Ms. Richardson?
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I would die for Brianna. And I'll take my last breath for that little girl up on the screen right there. And that's my goddaughter. And it's just because I've built that relationship with them that quick. We've told each other things that I have told nobody else.
Oh God, this is so exhausting.
So,
you all are all just kids.
Exactly.
And everything is so intense.
Next up, Ms. Bagley, the twins' mom, is here with her own roller coaster of emotions, saying she really wants Kalani to be her granddaughter. And if you think that's heartfelt, just wait until the DNA bombshell drops.
Do you believe Kalani is your granddaughter?
Yes, I do. They always did have problems, but I stayed neutral, you know, because I didn't want to get in between not seeing her because I'm on my son's side, but he was holding the baby and kissing on her. I'm like, I don't even know this guy. Do my son know this guy? If you're a godfather, why we don't know you?
Judge Lake calls for everyone to focus on Kalani, saying, all right, enough of this drama, let's get real. The room is silent as they prepare for the DNA results, and you can feel the tension.
You all have all been through a lot, and because of that, you all are taking actions, like I said, that really don't support Kalani. And in this moment, let's all just refocus as we go forward to these results.
Finally, the moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Smith.
Get ready, because this one starts off strong. Mr. Hunter opens the case with a big claim. He doesn't think he's the dad of Ms. Holden's son, Josiah. But Ms. Holden, she says she's 100% sure he's the dad. The stage is set for a wild back and forth.
Mr. Hunter, you opened your case in paternity court because you say there is no way you fathered the defendant's son. She's only saying you did because of the financial security you provide for her. Ms. Holden, you admit you were confused about your son's biological father because you were given incorrect medical information, but you are 100% certain Mr. Hunter is the father.
Brace yourselves, folks, because this guy's doing dad duties even with big doubts. Mr. Hunter explains he's been buying everything from diapers to baby clothes for Josiah. Things are getting complicated real quick, and this is only the beginning.
Because I take care of him financially, I do everything. Buy him diapers, milk, I buy clothes. Everything a father has to do to take care of a child, I do it.
So you're pretty much stepped up as a father.
Yes, ma'am.
You have, but you have doubt. But Miss Holden, has he gotten emotionally attached to Josiah as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
So pretty much has accepted this child as his own?
Yes.
This story of how they got together has some interesting twists. Judge Lake thinks it's sweet, but we all know there's more to this romance than just cake and good deeds.
Well, we lived on the same street. I met him when I was 15. We both was in a relationship. Then we both became single. I invited him over to and he offered to pay for the booth at the party and offered to buy the cake.
Did you have any benefits in the back of your mind that you were looking to get later?
No, ma'am.
You didn't. Just a nice guy. Pleasant and refreshing, right, Jerome?
Hold up, they can't even agree on what happened the first night. Ms. Holden says they got cozy on her birthday, but Mr. Hunter says, nope, that didn't happen. If they can't even agree on this, it's gonna be a long, bumpy ride.
So at what point did you all turn this platonic friendship into a sexual relationship? Did you what about dating? How did this happen?
The night of the party, we both was intoxicated.
Oh.
I invited him over,
yeah, but that
and
night,
one thing led to another.
That night we didn't sleep.
Yes, we did, Your Honor.
So on the birthday night, you said you did did have sex. And Mr. Hunter, you say you did not.
Yeah, we did that night.
Things are getting messy, folks. They argue about using protection. Hunter says yes, Ms. Holden says no. And wait until you hear about how she dropped the pregnancy news on him.
So were you having sex with protection?
No.
Here we go. You all haven't agreed on one thing yet. Who said yes?
She said no. I said yes, we were using protection.
No, we wasn't.
That's what we call reasonable doubt in a criminal court. So now listen, you're having sex. One says you're using protection, one says you're not. Are you having sex with anybody else?
When Ms. Holden tells Mr. Hunter she's pregnant, it's pure drama. Just when he thought things couldn't get worse, she tells him there might be another dad possibility. Get ready for a bombshell about the birth certificate.
So when you find out you're pregnant, you got one friend that you dating that Mr. Hunter is aware of, and now you've also made this friend, Mr. Hunter, into a sexual partner. When you get pregnant, who do you tell?
Mr. Hunter.
What happened?
I called him over, and he came over, and I was so sleepy, and he was like, you must be pregnant because I'm sick.
This is a real wait, what moment? Ms. Holden admits she put another guy's name on Josiah's birth certificate, even though Mr. Hunter has been the one paying for everything. And yep, we're about to dive into due date confusion.
Did you put Mr. Hunter's name on the birth certificate, Ms. Holden?
No, Your Honor.
Did anybody bring a copy of that birth certificate?
I have evidence.
I'd like to see that. This is Josiah's birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hunter, is that your last name under?
No, ma'am.
Whose last name is that, Ms. Holden?
The other guy.
The other guy.
Oh, you think this story makes sense? Think again. It's like a math puzzle gone wrong, and the suspense just keeps climbing.
In November the 15th, this is when I slept with Mr. Hunter. I went to the doctor. My first due date they gave me was August 2nd. I went back to the doctor, and they gave me August 9th, and I slept with the other man on the 18th of November.
When you had the original due date, for you counted back.
Yes, that Mr. Hunter was the father.
Grab a tissue, folks, because this part's kind of sweet. Mr. Hunter shares that he's grown attached to Josiah, who's just started calling him Dada. What he says next makes everyone's heart break a little more.
You know, Mr. Hunter, I can see this really bothers you.
I mean, it bothers me because I'm starting to get attached. He recently just started coming to me, so.
But you know this baby is coming to you because he thinks you are his daddy.
Right.
And you're starting to form a bond?
I mean, he recently just started calling me Dada, so, you know.
That's a beautiful thing when you hear a child say that.
Ms. Holden opens up about her own past, and things get real. Judge Lake gives her a soft look, knowing what's at stake, and the audience braces for the DNA results.
Because I grew up without a father. It affected me emotionally because I was into sports. I didn't have a father figure there to support me. And now I have a little boy that might be a football. He needs a father there to support him.
And your fear is Mr. Hunter will leave or not be as present in this child's life if it's not his biological child?
Yes, Your Honor.
Talk about a jaw dropper.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hunter, you are not the father.
Yes. Oh boy, you're not gonna believe what you're about to see here. She's hoping to save their family by proving he's the dad, while Mr. Cottle says if he isn't, he wants his name off the birth certificate ASAP. And trust me, this is just the warm-up.
Mr. Cottle, you say you're not a doctor, but when a woman is having sex with more than one man at the same time, the odds are against you. And once the results reveal you aren't the father, you want your name off the birth certificate.
Just when you think it can't get crazier, Ms. Wolf talks about her ex, Lucas, cheating on her with her friend. So she took it as her sign to get back at him. Trust me, things are only heating up.
We met on a dating site, and I moved in with him about a week after meeting him. 2 weeks in a relationship, I invited my friend to come hang out with me. While I was sleeping, I woke up and I went to the bedroom door. The door was locked, so I kept pounding on the door for them to open it, and I saw my friend's underwear on the floor. So right then and there, I knew that they had sex, and then I asked them, was like, yeah, we did have sex, I'm sorry.
Just when you think there can't be more people involved, here comes Mr. Chittum, Ms. Wolf's ex-boyfriend, who's ready to tell his side of this tangled story. If you think it's a lot now, wait till you see what's next.
You were in a relationship with Miss Wolf first.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And you started a sexual relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then she said she invited her friend to come, and you and the friend slept together.
That is correct.
So now how do you find out that Miss Wolf was then intimate with your friend, Mr. Cottle?
One of my friends texted me.
What did she say?
She was pretty much denying it all.
The judge pulls out some Facebook photos that make the whole thing even wilder. And yep, things just keep getting weirder from here.
Is the court uncovered a couple of Facebook photos. Now this is you, Ms. Wolf, kissing Mr. Chittum.
Yes.
And on the bottom of that screen, which you can't see, you were a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then we uncovered this photo. This is you and Mr. Cottle in pretty much the exact same pose, but a different team, because this one says Seattle Seahawks.
All right, so here's where things get real. Ms. Wolf tries to deny it, but the polygraph says otherwise, making Mr. Cottle wonder what else he might be missing. Just wait, though. There's more to come.
Mr. Chittum, you met with a certified polygraph expert, and you were asked the following question. Did you have sexual intercourse with Ms. Wolf during her pregnancy with Zane? You said yes. The lie detector determined you were being truthful.
Yes, that is truthful.
Only up till
I was pregnant, and you knew that.
Things take a cringe-worthy turn when Judge Lake reads some pretty spicy messages Ms. Wolf sent Mr. Chittum. Spoiler alert, it's about to get even messier.
So this message was from approximately 3 weeks ago. Are you joking me? He does nothing for you? God, he got me so angry. Come blank me. It doesn't say talk, but it says come blank me. He answers why, and you answer I need blank.
This next part has everyone in the courtroom's jaws dropping. Trust me, this story is one for the books, and there's still more to go.
So, Ms. Wolf, why are you so convinced Mr. Chittum is not Zane's biological father?
I have evidence.
Oh, you haven't. This conception calculator indicates you were ovulating between the 22nd and the 27th?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you tracked this. I mean, it is
I
possible
tracked it
for
and
a woman.
I planned it, yes.
Oh, you tracked it and you planned it?
Yes, because at the time I loved Lucas and I knew he couldn't have kids and I wanted us to have a family.
It's time for the DNA reveal, and no one's breathing in this courtroom. Judge Lake opens the envelope, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Cottle. You are the biological father.
Oh, buckle up, because this case is wild from the start. He's here asking for a paternity test to figure things out, but hold on to your popcorn. It's about to get even juicier.
Mr. Threlkeld, you state that while you were out of the country serving in the military, your wife paraded around town with other men, and she has admitted to cheating multiple times. You claim you are not sure if you are the father of her third child, 18-month-old Liliana, and have asked the court for a paternity test.
This story is so crazy it sounds made up, but here we go. While he was in Afghanistan, Mr. Threlkeld got a super random tip that his wife was stripping. And trust me, the courtroom isn't ready for what Mrs. Threlkeld has to say next.
Actually, ma'am, I was overseas in Afghanistan. A soldier of mine came up to me and tapped me on the boot, said, hey, I need to go outside. We need to talk right now. Me and him got into some words, so I thought we were gonna, settle it. Well, it turns out his wife and my wife were friends, and she had found out that she was actually stripping as we spoke. At the time, the internet lounge got on Facebook and asked her, hey, is it true you're doing what I told you I didn't want you doing at all?
Wait till you hear this. She says she wasn't doing anything wrong and only started exotic dancing because her husband wasn't bringing in enough cash. Her reasons don't really make it better, and you just know things are about to get even messier.
First of all, we were done. He hacked my Facebook. He invaded my privacy. He looked into my stuff, into my messages.
So
that's how we found out.
What did he find?
There were messages, but...
Actually, ma'am, see, she's gonna,
No.
that's already a lie. I got on there, and on the inbox, I see, oh, baby, I can't wait to see you later on tonight. I had a great time with you. I went together. It's been amazing.
These are the messages
yes, ma'am.
seeing.
And here's the part where they totally disagree on whether they were done or not. Just wait, because what he says next is about to make everything way more complicated.
You thought your marriage was over.
Stuff as it may be.
Yes.
Because you all had an argument about you stripping and you hung up.
We hung up and we said it was done because I wanted to do what I want to do.
Ma'am.
You wanted to do what you wanted to do.
Exactly.
And why is it that you wanted to
Because
strip?
we got married too young. Well, I needed to
She
because
wanted to be a hooker in training,
will
so
you
she'd
just
start
let
stripping?
me talk?
Well, no.
No.
Just when you think it can't get sadder, we find out about Mr. Threlkeld's heartbreaking return. His frustration only grows, and things are far from over as they head to the next explosive moment.
When the day I was supposed to come back home from overseas, we were told before we even got on the plane that the news was gonna be there. I get there and not my father, my mother, my wife, so like I said, we'll quote that, weren't even there. They call everybody's names up, everybody's clapping and cheering, they come to my name and it's just dead quiet. No one was there. So as everybody's getting ready to go home, I'm sitting there with my bags. I didn't even have a phone yet, so I couldn't even call her. I'm sitting there under a street light, army bag on one side and a suitcase on the other.
Now this part is straight out of a soap opera. He decides to call up the guy his wife's been chatting with, but it's not exactly the convincing response he was hoping for, and things just keep heating up with the next argument.
Because I saw the guy, she hadn't fully admitted that she's been seeing this guy, so I snatched the phone from her and I started going through it. There was a number that she'd called like 13 times. So I called him right back, and he answers the phone, hey, I said, who is this? Are you the one that's... And now Now, her defense, she starts laughing, saying, I knew he was just going to say that. He's just saying that to make you mad. And it was ridiculous. I mean, that was just the only defense.
So when he calls the guy on the phone, you deny.
In a what was he thinking kind of moment, Mr. Threlkeld reveals he thought a baby might actually fix things. His plan didn't go exactly as he thought, and now things are about to get even more awkward.
When I got back home, within those first week or two, we had sex like 4 or 5 times a day.
So you had it in your mind that if I get my wife pregnant, she'll stop stripping.
Roger,
because that's going to definitely
what she
be
tells me, kind of like she just said, kind of like how she just said, I'm going to strip and I'm going to do whatever I want because that's what I'm going to do. I said, oh, really? Okay, I'll give you a 9-month break on me. I mean, so.
Here's where the drama gets cranked up. He wanted her to take a lie detector test to settle his doubts once and for all. The shocking stuff just keeps coming as we finally get closer to finding out the truth about Liliana.
Mr. Threlkeld, you asked your wife to take a lie detector test at some point.
Before she came back, I said, look, you know, obviously the path we're going down right now isn't a good one. My insecurities, I'd like you to take a lie detector test. And she kept saying, oh, yeah, that's fine, I'll do it, you know, no big deal. She starts, you know, getting nervous. I could start telling from body language and, you know, tone of her voice, she was getting nervous.
We don't need a lie detector test, we just need communication.
This is where it gets brutal. Mrs. Threlkeld admits there's only a 50-50 chance that Liliana is her husband's daughter. It's a super tense moment for everyone in the room, and just when you think you can't take any more, it's finally time for the big reveal.
Do you think, honestly, that he is the father of Liliana?
It could be a 50-50 chance, honestly.
Anybody got a quarter?
Do you understand that for a man, for any person, that would be really hard to accept? There is a part of me that listens to you both talk and sees that one, if not both of you, maybe still wants to make this work.
And here's the moment everyone's been waiting for.
Pertaining to 1-year-old Liliana, Mr. Threlkeld, you are Liliana's father. And I have to ask you, do you believe you are Skyla's biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
You do?
That's her ex-boyfriend, my daughter's.
Wait a minute now. Miss Cooper, this is your ex-boyfriend?
Yes, Your Honor.
That was a mistake, Your Honor.
And that is not the person that was supposed to stay in that apartment. It was someone from California that was advised to me. That's who was going to stay in the apartment.
She wanted me to stay in the apartment after her son passed away.
When she was staying there when you were pregnant.
Yes, I did come to stay there. And the time when I was staying there and after I moved back to my parents' big house.
Okay, hold on. So her ex is your friend?
Yeah, told me if I...
Now we're getting places.
Well, we were
okay.
friends. We were friends.
So you went over there, got the car, but when you get to her house, your boy's girl was flirting.
No, she didn't flirt till I left. Like 5 minutes later, she sends me a text message.
Oh.
Get ready for some wild stuff. Ms. Autry claims Ms. Martin is tricking her son by saying her daughter Skyla is his kid. She's super sure she has proof that Skyla isn't her granddaughter. The room is buzzing because both sides are ready to rumble. Stick around. The excitement is just starting.
Ms. Autry, you say the defendant is taking advantage of your son by pinning a baby on him, and you have physical proof that her 2-year-old daughter Skyla is not your grandchild.
Oh boy, did that really just happen? Ms. Martin stands her ground, saying Ms. Autry just doesn't like her, and that's why she's denying Skyla is her granddaughter. She's really hoping the DNA test will clear things up. It's getting tense as Ms. Martin looks for a thumbs up from the court. The show's just getting good. Don't go anywhere.
Ms. Martin, you claim that the plaintiff is a monster-in-law and is denying your daughter only because she doesn't like you. You need help and hope to get some once the results are revealed.
Wow, things just got spicy. The judge steps in as Ms. Autry throws some not so nice words at Ms. Martin. The judge wants everyone to play nice so they can get to the bottom of this mess. The court's trying to keep things cool, but the heat's still on. Guess what happens next? It's a hoot.
Well, she entrapped my son by marrying him, by giving him things like money, clothes, cars, and she just wanted a man to call her uncle. She ain't no but old tramp.
Wait a minute now. Let's use respectful language. I want to understand this. You say she entrapped him, but she's giving him money. She's doing this. She wanted a man of her own.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Autry, really? Why would you say that, Miss Autry?
Because you do, Miss Tramp.
You've got to hear this. Ms. Autry tells a wild tale about trying to crash Ms. Martin's wedding. She found out last minute and dashed over there to put a stop to it, showing just how far she'd go to break things up. This bit is just nuts, and just when you think it can't get any zanier, it does.
Because I got a phone call, so I was getting married down to my house, so I was on my way walking down there to start the marriage to my friend. That's why I was going out to go start the wedding.
She tried to stop the wedding, Your Honor. She tried to stop the wedding.
Move your way so close so you can get married to him.
You can't talk that fast, then turn to the side. I can't even read your lips. I felt like I was at an auction or something. I was like, what?
Just when I thought it was all over. Despite Ms. Autry's wedding crash attempt, Ms. Martin says they just moved the party elsewhere and tied the knot anyway. The whole wedding crew just picked up and moved, showing they're not giving up without a fight. And the craziness doesn't stop there. More wild stuff is on the way.
But you all ended up getting married on that day anyway, in another location.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did your whole wedding party follow you? Now I'm curious.
Yes.
Miss Autry trailing behind? Well, I don't get how that worked.
I didn't have no choice. I ain't had no car. If I'd had a car, I went right on behind him. And there wouldn't have been no wedding.
She's crazy, Your Honor.
So you've never cared for Miss Martin?
It ain't so much as I never cared for Miss Martin. It's just that
this part is too funny. Ms. Autry is now talking about toes and eyebrows, claiming these bits don't match up so Skyla can't be her grandkid. The judge is trying to keep a straight face listening to this toe tale. Hold on, because there's more funny business coming up.
she don't have the toes like my son. His toes cross, his big toe is here and his toe next to his toe. It crawls over like that. And I have proof, Your Honor, that is not his baby because her toes don't do that.
Yes, they do,
and she
Your
don't
Honor.
have the thick eyebrows as me and my son and my daughter have. So I know
they
that's
haven't
not my
grew
son's
yet.
baby.
I mean, they grew.
All right,
You act like she's supposed to come out with full-blown eyebrows.
She do.
No, she does.
He did.
All right.
You won't see this one coming. Ms. Martin drops a bombshell. She once told her hubby Skyla might not be his to hurt him because he had hurt her. This big reveal throws a curveball into the whole paternity puzzle, and everyone in the court is on the edge of their seats. The next part is even more jaw-dropping.
You told him, your husband, that this was not his child?
Yes, Your Honor. I was trying to hurt him. He left me to go be with another woman, and I was trying to hurt him like he hurted me.
Did you sleep with another man?
Yes, Your Honor. Prior to him coming back into my life.
And she was already pregnant.
No,
Is there any chance that man could be Skyla's biological father?
No, Your Honor.
Get a load of this twist. Just when you thought it was all figured out, Mr. Gott steps into the picture, claiming he might be Skyla's dad. This guy used to date Ms. Autry's daughter, which just makes everything more of a soap opera. You'll totally flip when you hear what he has to say.
And I have to ask you, do you believe you are Skyla's biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
You do?
That's her ex-boyfriend, my daughter's.
Wait a minute now. Miss Cooper, this is your ex-boyfriend?
Yes, Your Honor.
That was a mistake, Your Honor.
Ms. Martin, you slept with your sister-in-law's boyfriend?
Yes,
Now
Your
who
Honor.
crazy, Your Honor?
That was before, Your Honor.
Are you ready for the grand finale? They finally open the envelope with the DNA results. And guess what?
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Martin.
I'll take that for 200, Your Honor. I told you.
Can you believe this? Ms. Hall is super mad at Mr. Richards because he won't admit he's the dad of their 1-month-old Damani. She and her mom are totally ticked off, saying Mr. Richards is ignoring them and the baby. Just wait for what's coming up next. It's a doozy.
Ms. Hall, you and your mother are furious with the defendant because he denies your 1-month-old son, Damani, and does nothing to support him.
Oh boy, did that just happen? Mr. Richards is tossing back the blame, claiming Ms. Hall just wants him to be the daddy because she likes him too much. He tells her to go find the real dad because it ain't him. Hang tight, the judge has got a zinger coming up.
Mr. Richards, you believe that Ms. Hall is claiming you are the father because she wants to be with you. You say Ms. Hall was thirsty for love and she needs to go find her child's real dad.
Whoa, did he really just say that? When the judge asks if he's done anything for the baby, Mr. Richards is like, nope, nothing. He's sticking to his story that he's not the dad. No way, no how. Buckle up because the courtroom's about to get even spicier.
Mr. Richards, you haven't done anything for the child at all.
No,
admittedly.
No, ma'am.
And that's because you sincerely doubt paternity?
Yes.
What's the nature of this relationship? Tell me, what was going on here? The baby's just 1 month old and everything fell apart already?
You gotta hear this. Ms. Hall spills the beans about their past. They dated before, then he ghosted her. But guess what? He texted her again and bam, back together for a hot minute. Don't wander off. The plot thickens in a flash.
A couple years back, he broke my heart. Then I decided he hit me up to give him another chance.
You all were boyfriend and girlfriend a couple years ago, or you were just dating?
We're dating.
And then somehow he comes back into the picture because if he's potentially the father of
He instant
Damani,
messages hitting her up, talking about, hey, and it went from there.
So you reached back out to her, Mr. Richards?
Yes, ma'am.
You did do that?
Yes.
Hold your socks. It's about to get wild. They dive into this whole thirsty business, with Mr. Richards explaining it means tricking someone with sweet nothings just to get what you want. Stick around, because the truth gets even juicier.
So how is she thirsty if he hit her up?
Thirst is going both ways, ma'am.
But he called her thirsty, though.
I would admit I was being thirsty also.
Okay, hold on. What does thirst mean? Does thirst mean, what does that mean?
Let me tell you, it's the fact that I knew I wasn't gonna have a long relationship with her, but when you feed somebody the lines that you know they wanna hear, that's thirst to get what you want from them.
Get this, Ms. Hall and Mr. Richards only chilled for a week. They got back together, didn't bother with protection, and whoops, here comes trouble. Don't flip the channel. The judge's reaction is priceless.
It ended bad, but in the same token, I did like him. When he hit me up, it kind of, I think I should give him another chance. Maybe it'll work out this time. But
all right. At what point, so you all start obviously having sex again, using protection all the time or not?
No.
So how long did this relationship go on?
Basically a week.
A week?
Oh snap. Ms. Hall didn't even want to tell Mr. Richards about the baby at first because he was such a jerk when they split. She kept it hush-hush until her mom nudged her to spill the beans. Keep your eyes peeled. Big reveal is just moments away.
At what point did you find out you were pregnant?
When I was 4 months.
Did you immediately think it was Mr. Richards' child?
I knew, but I didn't want to tell him because how we broke up and how disrespectful he was to me. I didn't tell nobody until me and my mom sat down.
I told her, even if it's gonna be a problem, tell him so he can't never say that he didn't know and that you never told him.
Here it comes, the big kahuna. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Richards, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you.
Buckle up, Buttercup. Angela Monroe kicks off the show with a real soap opera scenario. Her son has passed, and a lady named Shaneka claims she's carrying his baby. Angela, battling a serious illness, desperately wants to know if the little one is indeed her grandkid. Stick around, it gets even spicier.
My name is Angela Monroe. My son Herbert died on January 27, 2015. After my son passed, a young lady named Shaneka Reed, just the defendant, told me that she was pregnant from my son. The baby was born on May 31st, 2016. I really would like to know if Iyanna Monroe is my granddaughter.
Guess what popped up at the funeral? Angela spills the beans about how she found out about Shaneka's bun in the oven right after her son's funeral. Talk about a shocker. The drama is just warming up, folks.
How and when did you find out about Ms. Reed's pregnancy?
I found out after my son passed, after his funeral. She came by the house and she said, I have something to tell you. And she said, well, I'm pregnant. I really didn't know what to say at first. I was kind of stunned because I wasn't expecting that.
And so how far along was Ms. Reed when she told you?
I believe it was about 5 months.
And boom, Shaneka drops a bomb about her pregnancy to Angela, who just lost her only child. Shaneka was halfway to her due date by then. Next up, watch the tempers start to flare.
After a week after her son passed and after she laid him to rest, I called her. I wasn't even gonna let her know that I was pregnant with his child, but I was encouraged by family members and friends due to the fact that she has lost her only. So I gave her a call. I told her that I was pregnant by her son, and I told her that I was almost 5 months pregnant.
Things start getting a bit sticky here. Angela chats about how tight she was with her son, who never peeped a word about Shaneka or any baby-making business. Hold on to your popcorn because the tea is about to spill.
So, Ms. Monroe, you were very close to your son.
Yes.
And did he ever tell you the fact that he may have a baby on the way?
Knowing my son, he would come to me about certain things, but when it came to her being pregnant, that wasn't mentioned to me at all. I do have a granddaughter, which he let me know that this person was pregnant, but I had no knowledge of this baby.
Ready for a twist? Shaneka paints a lovey-dovey picture of her and Angela's son planning to shack up together, which Angela quickly calls bogus, insisting the apartment lease was in her name too. Ooh, the plot thickens.
Second week on us hanging together, he already had made it up in his mind that he wanted me to be his life companion. When she was moving out, I was supposed to move into his apartment.
Had you met Ms. Monroe? Did you meet his mother?
Yes, I did meet her.
And the thing about that was our apartment, me and my son's apartment.
You even said this is Ian's apartment.
Yikes, raise your shields. A fiery debate breaks out over who paid what and who lived where, digging up a whole garden of beef between Angela and Shaneka. And guess what? It's not over yet.
Nobody can take my son. God took my son from me. I wasn't gonna leave my son to be anywhere else. And that is not the person that was supposed to stay in that apartment. It was someone from California that was advised to me. That's who was gonna stay in the apartment.
She wanted me to stay in the apartment after her son passed away.
You came
was
stayed there when you were
Yes, I
pregnant.
did come to stay there. And the time when I was staying there and after I moved back to my parents' big house.
Okay, hold on.
Hold your horses. Here comes a doozy. Post-baby birth, Angela's thrilled but skeptical, especially when Shaneka starts pressing for DNA test money. Tension's cranking up, and you won't want to miss what's next.
They called me after the baby was born. Of course I was excited. Well, if you don't have nothing for her, you're going to pay for the DNA. That costs $400. I said, well, you pay half, I'll pay half.
Why would I pay half on a DNA test that I'm not going to get the results from? And then you could just say, oh, no, I got the results, and then say, you're not the grandmother of this baby. No, I'm not going to pay. That's what you don't understand.
All right, everyone, lean in. As the DNA results are about to drop, Judge Lake tries to simmer down the feuding duo, hoping to patch things up for the sake of the kiddo involved. The big reveal is on its way, and it's a game changer.
Ms. Reed, if in fact this is Mr. Monroe's biological daughter, would you allow Ms. Monroe a chance to be in her life and be a grandmother and get to know her son's daughter?
I would not stand in the way of that relationship. I would not.
That's what I wanted to hear. Let's focus on the paternity question. Let's focus on Iyanna, because ultimately that's what's important.
Here it comes, the big kahuna.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Angela Monroe and Iyanna Monroe is 99.98%.
Things kick off with a bang in the courtroom. Judge Lake gets everyone seated, and Jerome rolls out the case of Bell vs. Clemens. Mr. Bell claims he's shelled out $7,000 on a kiddo he's sure isn't his, and accuses his ex, Ms. Clemens, of pulling the wool over his eyes. He's betting all his chips that the DNA test will clear his name. Strap in, folks. The roller coaster is just leaving the station.
Mr. Bell, you say you've spent approximately $7,000 caring for a child you are positive is not your son, and you know who the father is. You say your ex-girlfriend, Ms. Clemens, duped you into believing her 8-month-old son, Major, is yours, but you are certain today's DNA test will prove you are not the father.
Hold on to your popcorn. Here comes a curveball from Ms. Clemens. She throws Mr. Bell's accusations right back, insisting the DNA test will show he's indeed the daddy of little Major. She talks up all the stuff Mr. Bell has done for them, like moving states and buying loads of baby gear, making it clear he's been super involved. Buckle up. It's about to get even wilder from here.
Ms. Clemens, you say Mr. Bell's accusations are false, and you're certain the test will prove Major is his son. So, Mr. Bell, what have you done for Ms. Clemens and her son?
I've done everything, Your Honor. I moved from California to go be out there with her with the baby, diapers, car notes, strollers, boxes, done everything that I feel like a father should do for a child. So I've done it all.
Mr. Bell drops a bombshell that turns heads in the courtroom. He's all twisted up about the baby's looks, especially his lighter skin, which doesn't match his expectations. He drops a hint about a white guy buzzing around Ms. Clemens, which cranks up his worry meter about who the real dad might be. Crowd can't help but gasp. You won't believe what flies out of the hat next.
So why do you feel she duped you?
Cause the baby looked like this baby. I'm expecting a chocolate baby, and this baby came out white.
Come on now. My son's life is not a game. Every baby comes out light.
You're saying the only reason you believe Miss Clemens duped you is because the child didn't come out the shade you thought it should?
Yeah, and there's a white guy involved. That's why.
Ms. Clemens grabs the mic to clear the air. She explains the white guy is just a client who wanted his hair braided. Nothing fishy there. She stresses there was zero romance, just some hair business. The court buzzes as they chew on this new tidbit about racial expectations and innocent hair appointments. Get ready for a twist that'll make your head spin.
So far as the white guy, we had no physical. He texted me. The day that he seen the message, we actually met the day before that, and he wanted me to do his hair. It was never nothing physical, nothing. So
wait, the white guy wanted you to do his hair?
Yes.
The white guy won't braid.
He has braids in his hair.
Okay, I actually have seen that before. So he wanted to get his hair braided. You're saying you've never heard of such.
Here comes the showstopper, Mr. Bell's photo evidence. Pulls out a photo book to prove his point about the baby's unexpected light skin, even throwing in a baby morph pic to show what he thought the baby would look like. It's his way of saying, something's fishy here, folks. Hang tight, because the next reveal is a doozy.
Okay, Your Honor, this is me. As you can see, I'm dark skinned, not super dark, but I'm a dark skinned, you know what I'm saying, fella? And this is Miss Clemens, and you see she's like a cinnamon brown, you know what I'm saying? So I did a baby morph, what looked like with all, you know, with it being us, and this is what I got. And then this is my son. And this is what come out. This is how he come out, a white boy with an afro.
The moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Mr. Bell, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you. It took all of this. It took all of this just to show you. It doesn't make sense. It took all of this.
Guess what? This circus is just getting started. We dive into the case of Kane versus Wright, where the air is thick with drama over who's the daddy of little Ariana. Everyone's on edge, waiting to see how this wild ride of trust issues and bumpy love unfolds. Get ready, the roller coaster is leaving the station.
Ms. Kane, now you say you've had an on-again, off-again relationship with Mr. Wright past 3 years. In addition to questions regarding your daughter's paternity, you say your relationship has suffered from instability and constant mistrust.
Yikes, talk about starting off with a bang. Mr. Wright is throwing shade left and right, doubting he's the father because of Ms. Kane's so-called fibs. He's ready to bolt if the test says he's not the dad. Talk about high stakes. Strap in, it's about to get bumpier.
Mr. Wright, you say that Ms. Kane has repeatedly lied to you, and you have every reason to doubt the paternity of 1-year-old Ariana. Now, you confess that if the results of today's paternity test prove you are not the biological father, you plan to walk out of this courtroom and have nothing to do with Miss Kane again.
Whoa, things just got twisty. Plot thickens with a tangled web of X's and oopsies. Everyone's up in each other's business, blurring the lines between past flings and current Klingons. Keep your eyes peeled. The next turn is a doozy.
So her ex is your friend?
Yeah, told me if I...
Now we're getting places.
Well, we were
okay.
friends. We were friends.
So you went over there, got the car, but when you get to her house, your boy's girl was flirting.
No, she didn't flirt till I left. Like 5 minutes later, she sends me a text message.
Oh.
Here comes the wacky part. The plot jumps to a whole new level of crazy when we find out Ms. Kane might have been a bit too friendly with a tow truck dude right after meeting him. Ooh, the drama. Hang on, there's more wackiness ahead.
So you started dating?
Yes.
And at some point during this time, you got pregnant?
Yes.
Well, before that, I mean, we started dating, then her ex-boyfriend's always sleeping in her bed with her.
What?
No, it wasn't like that. He came over to my house because when he helped me move in, he needed somewhere to stay. My friend was sleeping on the couch. We had
What about
separate
the
beds.
floor? Now, you know you're in court, Miss Kane.
Yes.
Get a load of this mess. The courtroom is buzzing with tales of double dates and sneaky meetups. It's like a soap opera in here, with all the backstabbing and jaw-dropping gossip. You won't believe what's up next.
I don't believe that at all. There was one instance, she went out, she lied to me, told me her friend, they were gonna have a girls' night out. Well, my boy was a door guy at the bar. Come to find out, her ex's friend, and her girl were all on double dates together.
We were on a double date. One of my friends, she asked me to go with her to meet this guy. My ex was there too with his boy.
And you thought it couldn't get messier. It's a free-for-all with exes popping up like whack-a-moles and everyone's story getting knotted like last year's Christmas lights. Brace for impact. The truth bomb is about to explode.
You all see each other, but you also have relationships with your exes.
But see, I admit what I've done.
I had a friendship with my ex.
And now...
That was all it ever was between him and I.
You leave the bar at 10:30, go to his house till 6 in the morning.
So? Because they wanted to go, and I wanted to go.
Okay, I've heard
It's because
enough
I didn't
of
have
this.
my phone. He
I've heard
stole
enough
my
of this,
phone
because
from me.
regardless...
Things just hit the feels train. The feels are real as Mr. Wright spills the beans about maybe not being the daddy. Emotions are flying high, and the suspense is through the roof. The big reveal is just around the corner.
She told me twice that it might not be mine.
She
and then
told you?
while she was pregnant. And then again, months ago, she told me
Hold
that
on,
she wasn't
because she
mine.
just validated your assertion.
I mean, just a couple months ago, she told me. We got into an argument, and I was like, I'm going down and file for full custody. I'm going to file for paternity test, and I'm filing for full custody. She was like, you might want to go file because she probably ain't yours anyway.
Oh, that's when she said it.
And now for the grand finale.
It has been determined, Mr. Wright, you are Ariana's father.
Buckle up, folks! The case kicks off with the court clerk rolling out the red carpet for the drama of Coates Hooker vs. Baker. Judge Lake steps up to the plate, and the plaintiffs, Ms. Hooker and her mom, strut in, claiming Ms. Baker's late son is the daddy of Ms. Hooker's kiddo. The circus is just getting started, so keep your eyes peeled.
Ms. Hooker, you are here with your mother because you say the defendant's son, Mr. Abraham, fathered your 10-month-old daughter, Kanaya. You say that Ms. Baker and her family's public denial of this child has caused you pain, and you are here for an apology and to prove her son is the father.
Things are getting juicy now. Ms. Baker and her daughter stand up for her son, Mr. Abraham, who's sadly not with us. They're throwing a curveball by doubting he's the dad because Mr. Abraham wasn't sure himself before he passed away. Get ready. It's about to get even more bonkers.
Ms. Baker, you and your daughter are here today to represent your son, Mr. Abraham, because tragically he was killed 3 months after the birth of this child. You say that before Before his death, your son expressed great doubt that he was the father of Miss Hooker's baby, and you are here to put the lies to rest.
Feel the heat turning up? Ms. Hooker spills the beans on how tough it's been, with Ms. Baker's crew denying her baby's paternity. She talks about feeling left out like the last kid picked in dodgeball, not caring what others think anymore. Brace yourself, because there's more drama ahead.
I'm just sad sometimes. I try to deal with it now. Like, I really don't care no more. That's how I feel. I don't care anymore. I don't care who feel nothing about my baby. I don't care. It just seemed like everybody else looking upside my head like I'm my animals. Like, every time I'm sitting down doing something, they looking at me like I'm the outcast of the group. She looked like me, so why is a problem? That's why I just say I don't care about nothing and none of that.
You'll never guess what's next. Ms. Coates jumps into the fray to defend her daughter, pointing fingers at Ms. Baker and her family for the heartache they've caused. She insists the negative chit-chat has really hurt Ms. Hooker. Just wait till you hear what pops up next.
It's not that she don't care. Her feelings been hurt, so she hold her guard up. It's not Miss Baker who denies Kenaya. It's her family who makes my daughter to be his baby. She fat like them and a whole bunch of stuff. Never from Miss Baker. It's always her family who always have something to say about my grandbaby. My daughter's feelings have been hurt.
Whoa, things take a serious turn here. Judge digs deeper into how Mr. Abraham died. Ms. Baker shares the heart-wrenching story of her son being shot and dying soon after, which really throws a shadow over everything. The emotional meter is about to explode, so don't go anywhere.
May I ask what happened to Keyshawn?
He was shot on a Sunday and he died that Friday.
I'm so very sorry.
A test done because of what the other young man said, and you know.
What did the other young man say?
He told Keyshawn that when he wasn't around, he was supposedly sleeping with Denita.
Now, here's a twist. A relative remembers Keyshawn acting all fatherly before he died, which kind of clashes with his iffy feelings about being the dad when upset. The plot thickens. What comes next is a real jaw-dropper.
Your mind, Keyshawn accepted that he was the father of this child.
Yeah, in my mind.
From the way he behaved at your home.
I think he just went off what they're saying in their circle of kids. You know, they talk, they have their...
The boy was telling him that, you know, when you were away...
Hang on to your popcorn. This part's a doozy. They dive into why Kania wasn't mentioned in the obituary, stirring up a hornet's nest of feelings and making Ms. Hooker super upset. The tension's building, and you won't believe what's thrown into the mix next.
What did I do to her?
Oh, you can't go. Don't go there, Miss Blanche, because you know the truth is you.
We're all here to talk, honey.
This is
I ain't never said yay or nay. All I say is what my baby said to me. Right. I've talked to her, and she know why we here.
Exactly. And listen.
Yeah, I'm the one who
and
wrote
that's
the letter.
all I'm concerned with. All this other bickering, and I don't got time for it.
Grab your snacks. It's showtime. Moment of truth arrives with the DNA results. Drum roll, please.
Baker, Mr. Abraham, and Kenaya Abraham is 0%.
This is why right here.
Miss Baker, are you all right? Do you need to sit down? Do you need to sit down, ma'am? Ms. Almanza, how do you know that?
He's had a child with my relative. No, it's not.
Oh!
That happened during the time me and her, you know, we had our little timeout.
This DNA test proves that I am Elena's father. I will fight for my full custody rights.
And I will fight you for custody.
There's no way he is getting my daughter.
No, this is our child, not yours.
There's no way that he's getting full custody of my child.
During that time, we were having unprotected sex. I had told him that I wanted another child with him. He's even said that, you know, if a woman says that, you know, they want another child or a child with him, that he feels the need that he has to.
What?
That's not true.
Oh, snap! Mr. Brock kicks off with a bombshell, claiming he's been bankrolling Ms. Almanza's kiddos for the past 5 years, and he's pretty sure they aren't even his. He's hankering for a paternity test and a lie detector test to see if there's been any funny business on her side.
You claim you have been supporting Ms. Almanza's 2 children for the last 5 years and are convinced they are not yours. You have petitioned the court requesting a paternity test to determine if you are the father of the children in question and the one she is currently carrying, as well as a lie detector test to determine if she has been cheating.
Hold on to your popcorn. Ms. Almanza fires back with gusto, sure as sugar that the DNA dance will prove Mr. Brock is indeed daddy-o to her kids. She's also all in for a lie detector rodeo, clear her good name.
Ms. Almanza, you've also petitioned the court for a lie detector test, and you're confident that today's DNA results will prove that Mr. Brock is the father of your children.
Can you believe this twist? Plot thickens as Mr. Brock spills the beans on their rocky romance, hinting at side dalliances and shaky trust from the get-go. You'll want to stay tuned because it only gets spicier from here.
We've been dealing with each other for like 11 years or whatever, but the foundation of our relationship wasn't based on husband, wifey, you know, this was somebody who I was messing with during the time I was basically ending a relationship. Well, basically, she laid up with somebody that was a mutual friend of ours, right? During that time, she ended up pregnant, and
That was because we weren't in an exclusive relationship.
Yikes. Talk about awkward. Miss Almanza is feeling all kinds of ways about Mr. Brock doubting he's the father, especially with them playing house and another bun in the oven. Brace yourselves. It's about to get bumpier.
Ms. Almanza, how does it make you feel that he's questioning the paternity of all your children?
Well, it disgusts me because we're living together. We've been in a relationship. You know, if I'm having these babies, I'm not having them by myself or with anybody else. He's still the one that's messing around.
You're currently living together.
Yes.
And then there's this doozy. Boom, Mr. Brock drops the gossip grenade that he's also played Papa with a member of Ms. Almanza's family tree. Gird your loins, the drama dial is cranking up to 11.
Ms. Almanza, how do you know that?
He's had a child with my relative. No, it's not.
Oh!
That happened during the time me and her, you know, we had our little time out.
When my daughter was born, I needed to get assistance for her medical. So I went to, apply for that. And when I did, they asked me who the father was.
As the merry-go-round turns, dive into the emotional roller coaster of Mr. Brock and Ms. Almanza's love saga, swirling with doubts and discretions and makeups. Don't blink now. More revelations are on the way.
Ms. Almanza, what is the state of your relationship?
When it comes to him and me, I try to talk to him. At the same time, when it comes down to family time, things with my children, it's always me doing things. He's never involved. He was involved in my baby shower. He was there. So if he doesn't feel that he's the father, why was he there?
Next up on this wild ride, court's all ears, waiting for the DNA drum roll that'll clarify who's really who in the kiddo department, including the newest little one still loading. Hang tight, the truth bomb is about to drop.
Now, there are 3 children in question here. 2 children you have currently and 1 unborn child. As it relates to paternity for 5-year-old Victoria Brock, Mr. Brock, you are her father.
Another one bites the dust. Yep, you guessed it. Mr. Brock is also the pops to 2-year-old Giselle. His batting average for paternity just keeps getting better. The next bit is a real jaw dropper.
As it relates to paternity for 2-year-old Giselle Brock, Mr. Brock, you are the father.
That's what it's a great feeling. That's the understanding. That's what I tell you. It's love and not a feeling. It's an understanding.
Just when you thought it couldn't get crazier, and boom, goes the dynamite. Mr. Brock is the dad to the unborn kid too. Triple play. The next scene, it's a real doozy.
So in regards to paternity for Miss Almanza's unborn child, Mr. Brock, you are the father.
The plot thickens even more. Hold your horses. Now Mr. Brock's strapped to a lie detector, spilling the beans on his wandering ways. Watch how this unfolds. It's a real kicker.
I am ordering that you take this lie detector test. Mr. Brock, I want you to take this test right now. The court needs to take a recess. We will be shortly with the results. So, Jerome, please escort Mr. Brock out of the courtroom and get his lie detector test.
Talk about a twist. Mr. Brock flunks the lie test worse than a cat trying to bark. Lies, lies, lies. As we near the grand finale, things get totally bananas.
Now, the lie detector administrator then asked Mr. Brock, other than the 3 women you admitted to, have you had any type of sexual contact with since you have been in a committed relationship? Mr. Brock, you said no. The lie detector determined that was a lie.
Oh boy, here we go. Miss Young and her daughter storm into court, ready to drop some serious family drama. They're here to prove that Johnny Wallace, Miss Young's late common-law hubby, did not father Miss Patton, as Miss Terrell claims. Miss Young is also chasing down over $12,000 in Social Security benefits he thinks were snagged by Miss Patton under false pretenses. Just wait until you hear what's up next. This is just the warm-up.
You and your daughter are here in court today to prove that your deceased common-law husband, Johnny Wallace, did not cheat on you with Miss Terrell and father her daughter, Miss Patton. You say once the results prove he is not Miss Patton's father, you will sue to recoup all of the Social Security benefits that she wrongfully received after his death, totaling over $12,000.
Fasten your seatbelts, folks. Miss Terrell steps up with a zinger. She admits Wallace was called dad by her daughter, but says she kept her kiddo away from his crazy lifestyle on purpose. She's all in, hoping the DNA test will clear the air and plant her daughter right in the middle of the Wallace family tree. But guess what? There's a twist coming that'll knock your socks off.
Terrell, you say Mr. Wallace never denied your daughter. It was you who chose to separate your daughter from Mr. Wallace's crazy lifestyle. You claim that once the DNA test proves you right, you want your daughter, Miss Patton, to be accepted by the Wallace family.
Hold on to your popcorn. This gets juicy. Miss Young spills the beans about how she first got wind of Miss Patton possibly being another one of Wallace's kids. This bomb dropped only after the Social Security check started rolling in. And yep, Miss Terrell confirms all the whispers. Wallace knew about his other daughter, but had a whole soap opera going on with other ladies too. Stick around. The emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
The jury is still out on that one. I never found out. All I know is that I've known him since I was a teenager. We lived together, and I never knew of Kaisha being his daughter, and still don't till this day. Kids start getting Social Security. I got a letter from Social Security indicating that someone was applying for Kaisha Social Security for her father also.
Grab your tissues. This part's a tearjerker. Miss Patton recounts a rare and rather awkward meetup with Wallace, orchestrated by her grandma. It was a brief chat, with no father-daughter bonding to write home about. Meanwhile, Miss Young's daughter shares her own tale of discovering she might have a sister, leading to a stern family showdown with Wallace denying everything. Oh, the drama. Trust me, it's about to crank up even more.
My grandmother, she said, tell her, just stood there. I'm your daddy. I said, are you? Kind of went back and forth, and he was like, well, I'll talk to you later. I gotta go. Took care of some other stuff around the house, and then he shortly left after that.
And you were still there?
Yes.
That encounter, and the way you remember it it's amazing, actually.
All right, let's talk money and mysterious. Court digs into how Miss Patton started pocketing Social Security due after Wallace's departure from this world. Was it legit or not? That's the million-dollar question, given all the family doubts swirling around. This whole segment is a wild ride of identity crises and cash controversies. Keep watching, the big reveal is up next, and it's a doozy.
You ended up being entitled to Social Security benefit after Mr. Wallace's death.
Great-grandmother said that when they called her and asked her, did she know anything about Kaisha and could she be the daughter? She said, I know Kaisha. Johnny said he gave her mother money at one point to get an abortion. I wasn't there, but that's what she said. She told Social Security.
Here comes the moment of truth. Everyone's on edge. The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court, Miss Patton and Miss Stapleton. You are not related.
Already knew.
Buckle up. Mr. Webb drops a bomb right out of the gate, claiming he woke up from a coma to a world where Ms. Forrest not only had moved on, but was also pregnant. Could the baby be his, or is it her husband's? Drama is just getting started, and it's already soap opera level good.
Mr. Webb, you have been waiting 2 years for this day. You claim the defendant, Mrs. Forrest, left you for dead only to find out once you got out of a coma that she was pregnant and that the baby could be yours or her husband.
Here comes the kicker. Mr. Webb is not just here to find out if he's the daddy. He wants full custody if he is. Ms. Forrest claps back hard, defending her family setup with her husband. Grab your popcorn. Ms. Forrest's reply will have you on the edge of your seat.
My intentions are to fight for full custody rights if she is my daughter.
Well, that's my daughter, and you ain't getting her.
Ms. Forrest, how did you get yourself in this triangle?
My husband got in some trouble, and I ended up meeting Mr. Webb through one of my friends. We hit it off, and then I ended up leaving Mr. Forrest for Mr. Webb.
Just when you thought it couldn't get spicier, Mr. Webb and Ms. Forrest throw down different tales of their past fling. Each has their version of the truth, stirring up a storm of he said, she said. Stay tuned because the plot thickens right after this, and it's juicier than a reality TV show.
It didn't happen like that at first. Yes, we was in love. I was on life support.
That's not how it happened.
I had got a phone call saying that she was pregnant. I heard it from my aunt first, but on my way to Illinois with my dad, she had called me and told me that it was a possibility that Elena was my child.
Accusations are flying left and right. Mr. Webb suspects Ms. Forrest wasn't just working late. Something fishy was going on with her missing checks too. It's a mess of missing money, missing minutes. Next revelation is just around the corner, and it's a doozy.
She would get off at 10 o'clock. It would take at least 15 minutes to get home, but she would come in at 11 to 11:30.
It took about 45 minutes to get from where I was working.
So it was missing time and missing money.
Yes,
where she was MIA.
From where she worked at, and I know for a fact it took 45 minutes to get from her work to the house.
That's a lie.
Plot twist. Mr. Webb learns about the baby bombshell right after his hospital saga. The timing is suspect, and communication between the ex-lovers is as clear as mud. What's coming next is critical. The timeline showdown that might just solve this baby mystery.
She had called me the day that I got out of the hospital. I was on my way to Illinois. We had a discussion. She said that I may be the father. Then again, I may not be because she was back with Mr. Forrest.
I was there with her at the doctor's office, so it was the middle of September when she found out.
It was in August whenever she found out that she was pregnant.
No, it was not.
Let's crunch some numbers. Ms. Forrest tries to map out the baby-making timeline, prove her hubby's the real daddy. It's a math problem with more variables than a high school algebra test. But hold on to your calculators. This next part brings the emotional math into the equation.
My daughter was born on May 9th of 2013, and then you take it back 9 months later, that takes it to the week of August 26th through August 31st.
You were sleeping with your?
Just my husband.
The thing about it, Your Honor, is the day that before I went on to life support, we did have sex.
So you saying August 25th, you all were intimate?
Talk about a tearjerker. Mr. Webb spills the beans that he's never even met the little one, thanks to Ms. Forrest's gatekeeping. It's a real heartbreaker. The upcoming custody battle chat, it's going to crank up the drama to 11.
Elena is 2 years old.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you have still not held this baby?
No, Your Honor.
Never one time?
No, Your Honor.
I'm afraid that if he does get to see my daughter, that he can run off with her, and
Because he's
there's
done
nothing I can do to get her
So
back.
you admit, Ms. Forrest, that you've been blocking Mr. Webb from seeing Elena?
Yes, Your Honor.
And now, for the custody clash. If Mr. Webb is the dad, he's ready to battle it out in court for his child. Emotions are high, the stakes are even. Fasten your seatbelts, because the DNA results are next, and they're going to flip the script.
This DNA test proves that I am Elena's father. I will fight for my
This
full
is my
custody
child,
rights.
and I will fight you for custody.
There's no way he is getting my daughter.
No, this is our child, not yours.
There's no way that he's getting full custody of my child.
Well, whether I am or he is.
Oh, wait. I'm saying, are you convinced you're her biological father?
There's a possibility, yes.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court that her biological father is Mr. Webb.
You wouldn't believe it, but a little kiddo turned this whole situation upside down. Ms. Nielsen explains that her son Caden is pretty much her hero, pulling her into rehab and helping her stay clean. She's here today, dragging Mr. Davis into court to show without a doubt that he's the dad, because Caden deserves his father in his life. Just wait till you hear Mr. Davis's side of the story.
Ms. Nielsen, you say the birth of your 2-year-old son Caden literally saved your life. And to repay him, it is imperative that you make it a point to have his daddy in his life. So you've summoned the defendant, Mr. Davis, to court to prove to him that he is your baby's biological father.
Oh boy, here comes the drama. Mr. Davis is up, and although he tips his hat to Ms. Nielsen for turning her life around, he's pretty sure he's not the daddy. He's even brought what he says is proof that he's not the father. Buckle up, because things are about to get even spicier.
Mr. Davis, you claim it is commendable that Ms. Nielsen has changed her life, but unfortunately, she cannot undo her past. You are 100% certain that you are not her son's father and claim to have physical proof to support your doubt.
Grab your tissues, folks. This part's a tearjerker. Ms. Nielsen gets deep about how Caden literally saved her life by being her reason to kick her bad habits. She's convinced Mr. Davis is the father because they were pretty tight when she got pregnant. And oh boy, Mr. Davis isn't buying it. Watch his eyebrows go up.
I struggled with an addiction for numerous years, and when I found out I was pregnant with Caden, I was able to go into rehab. I still today am clean from the time I was pregnant, so I'll have 3 years clean in September.
That's wonderful. And so this child really did change your life in more ways than one.
He saved my life.
Here's where it gets tricky. Mr. Davis admits they were close, like really close, if you catch my drift. But he thinks the timeline is all wonky. He suspects she was already expecting before they even got together. Stay tuned, the plot thickens, and it's a doozy.
Mr. Davis, do you remember this relationship?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. It was not a relationship. It was just something I was just pursuing. We were just having sex. I was already in a relationship.
Oh, so you were in a relationship, but you were having a sexual relationship with Ms. Nielsen.
Exactly.
But were you using protection?
No.
That is what lands you in paternity court.
Things are heating up. Ms. Nielsen lays it all out, talking about how tough it's been raising Caden, all by her lonesome, because Mr. Davis and others weren't exactly stand-up guys. She talks about Mr. Davis seeing her with other dudes, which doesn't help his case. Next up, the proof is in the paperwork, literally.
It's all about the money and using. We were both had a different lifestyle at that time.
Understood. Did you feel like this sexual relationship with Mr. Davis could turn into something? Did you feel like...
Yeah, honestly, I did. I had feelings for Mr. Davis, and he was well aware of that. He was playing me, obviously, because we said we loved each other. He would tell me things. Yes, you did.
Okay, check this out. They pull out Kaiden's birth certificate and plot twist. It doesn't list Mr. Davis or even Ms. Nielsen's last names, but another dude's. If you thought things were tangled before, just wait until the next witness steps up.
I have a birth certificate, and he has a last name of H.
This is evidence. This is a birth certificate, you said?
Yes.
This is a copy of Kaiden's birth certificate. When you look at the last name, you don't see yours.
Exactly.
So you're saying...
Nor hers.
Or hers.
Exactly.
And in comes Mr. Turner, another contender for the title of Dad. He strides in, ready to throw his hat in the ring, convinced he's the biological father because, get this, the kid looks like him and even has his gap-toothed smile. Grab your popcorn, because this family drama is turning into a soap opera.
I moved away, and then I lost contact with my phone's information, so my daughter set up a Facebook page for me, and then when I seen Kaden, I looked at him and I said, wow. I said, he really looks like my other son. I believe that he was my child. He looked like me. I got a gap between my teeth, he had a gap between his teeth. Similar, he act like my children, you know.
Mr. Turner isn't just here for show. He's been around, taking Kaden to parks and stuff, acting all fatherly. He thinks there's a good chance he's the dad because of all their past hangouts. But Ms. Nielsen's memory is a bit fuzzy. Classic. What's next? Oh, it's good. You'll see.
Mr. Turner, has she ever told you that you are Kaden's biological father?
She told me that she had doubts. She said she did not know.
How did she introduce you? This is my mommy's friend? How did she introduce you?
She didn't introduce me as dad. For that reason, I never pushed the issue because I said before I wanted him to call me dad, I wanted to know if I was his true father.
Big reveal is here, folks. Everyone's on the edge of their seats as the DNA results are read out loud, and bam!
It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Davis.
Miss Ramirez drags her ex-boyfriend, Mr. Jordan, to court because she's totally over his denial about being the dad of their 4-month-old daughter, Mila. She's hoping that the DNA test today will make him man up once and for all.
Ms. Ramirez, you have dragged your ex-boyfriend to court because you are tired of him denying your 4-month-old daughter, Mila, and you're hoping today's results will make him finally step up.
Mr. Jordan is here to throw a curveball with proof that he wasn't even in the same zip code as Miss Ramirez when Mila was conceived. He's all about the alibi today, folks.
Mr. Jordan, you claim to have evidence to prove that you were nowhere near the plaintiff during the time of conception, and therefore you cannot be Mila's biological father.
Here comes the tea. The judge is poking Mr. Jordan, asking if he's dodging daddy duties on purpose. Jordan's not having it and insists he's been dad of the year to their other kids.
Are you avoiding responsibility, Mr. Jordan?
No, Your Honor. I'm just here to prove that Mila's not my baby. She's a liar, like pathological liar. We have 2 other babies together, and I've taken care of Levi and Adrian. Like, I've stepped up. I've changed their diapers. Like, Adrian was here for 7 months. I took care of him. So, like, I do everything for them.
Get ready for a plot twist. Miss Ramirez claims they had a not-so-little rendezvous that led to Mila. According to her, unprotected meetups were on the agenda during his visit.
The week he had came to visit, he was coming down with a friend. During that time, we were having unprotected sex. I had told him that I wanted another child with him. He's even said that, you know, if a woman says that, you know, they want another child or a child with him, that he feels the need that he has to.
What?
That's not true.
Can you believe this guy? Mr. Jordan pulls out a pay stub dated right in the middle of when he's supposed to be off making babies. He claims he was punching the clock in Georgia, not playing house.
I have proof right here that I was in Georgia. I got a pay stub. If I could submit this from.
Yes, I'd like to see that. This is a check for you, Elias Jordan, dated the 22nd of March, 2018. That's the week you say, Ms. Ramirez, he was down there with you.
He had said that he was gonna receive his other check late, so that could be the reason for the date.
No way! There's more! A new witness, Miss Gilliard, steps up and drops a bomb. She claims Miss Ramirez told her someone else might be the daddy.
I knew more certainly when she herself told me. She asked us to stay with the boys and that she's gonna take Mila to go see her dad. She didn't say, oh, this might be the dad. She said, I'm going to take Mila to see her dad. He's gonna give me money for her. He wants to see Mila.
Yikes, grab your popcorn. Now everyone's throwing shade about who did what and who's trying to wreck whose new relationship. Miss Ramirez and Miss Gilliard are not pulling any punches.
She's been trying to do that for a while. I know what she's up to. She's a very emotional, petty female, and you're saying you don't want this to be his baby, and you're telling us that this is a possibility. What female puts a possible father on the last name on a baby? That wouldn't be me.
But Miss Gilliard,
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for.
it has been determined by this court. Mr. Jordan, you are the father.
Get a load of this. Ms. Smith is quizzed about knowing a kiddo named Malachi if he might be related to her. She totally knew the kid existed, but had no clue he could be her. It's like a surprise family reunion without the cake. You'll be shaking your head at what comes next.
So, Miss Smith, you, all of this time, knew Malachi existed, knew who he was. Your nieces talk about him.
Yes.
But never knew he could potentially be your nephew. Miss Laster make you aware, and how did she go about telling you? Just saying that, you know, this could be your nephew, it really could? And then when you asked her, why would you tell me what's going on?
Wait, check this out. Ms. Smith just dropped a bombshell that she only first met Malachi the day before the court session, after he'd been around for 4 whole years. Talk about an awkward first meeting. Grab your popcorn, because the plot thickens from here.
I didn't even know who Malachi was. Yesterday was the first time I even touched that child.
So yesterday was the first time you ever seen him in person?
Not till yesterday.
In 4 years?
In 4 years. I never knew nothing about him.
Oh, that's precious.
All right, things are getting spicy. The court dives into the tangled web of Ms. Laster's love life, revealing she had multiple partners and Malachi might have been conceived. The judge isn't having any of the vague answers and is poking holes everywhere. This is turning into a real soap opera, and you won't want to miss what's next.
They loved me. I've lived with Miss Dolores too, but that was the first time that I actually, met a man that cared for me, had my best interest at heart. It was too much for me. You can only do but so much. It's not many things that you can go through to try to get DNA done for somebody that's deceased. It was even a hard time.
The tension is real. Everyone's on the edge of their seat as the judge is about to spill the beans on the DNA results. This could change everything or nothing at all. It's the moment of truth, folks, and it's juicier than a reality TV finale. You'll want to see the faces when the results drop.
When it comes to 3-year-old Jakari, it has been determined by this court. The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Dolores Smith and Jakari is 0.00%. You are not related.
Oh boy, here it comes. Crowd goes wild, and not in a good way. It's like expecting a plot twist in your favorite series, but you guessed it right from the start. Don't go anywhere. The drama doubles down just ahead.
You're not at all surprised. You just say thank you. Do you know who your child's father is? Yeah. Why would you put Miss Smith and her daughter through this drama? But I also was sleeping with Travis. I knew when you disappeared. And then she found you at the Martin Luther King parade, just walking around. Yeah.
Hold your llamas, folks. Another DNA result hits the fan.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Dolores Smith and Malachi Laster is 0.00%. You are not related.
I would never hold anything from my children. Okay, and now accept being wrong because I can accept it from my son.
Why didn't you tell him, Miss Smith?
I ain't tell him because I cheated with my previous kid's father.
She called me like around 5-something, but I'm trying to test her and see how loyal she is,
You
right?
don't have to test nobody that you're in a
I'm trying
relationship
to see
with.
how loyal she is. 3 in the morning, knock on the door.
But I don't owe you nothing. You owe me everything. I don't owe you nothing. It's never too late for a mother to love her child. It is never too late.
Around the time I got pregnant with Kamaya, I went and slept with him twice.
Without protection?
Yes, Your Honor.
She come to the window, got walk right out. Wasn't nothing open up in there that night but leg. Feel me? And she said she ain't did nothing. And she said she ain't
So here it comes, the big bombshell. Miss Moore spills the beans right before her son steps in. She confesses to a decades-old fling with not one, but 2 guys and never told her son about it. The court's already done a paternity test, and those results are ready to drop today. You'll want to stick around because the drama is just heating up.
To present his case against you, you haven't seen your son since a lifelong secret became exposed just 2 months ago. Now, Ms. Moore, what was the secret that you kept for almost 3 decades?
29 years ago, I had an affair.
between two guys, and I didn't tell my son.
Just when you think it's a regular day in court, Mr. Weeks throws a curveball. He starts to spill the tea on why he thinks the man who raised him might not be his bio dad. Ever since he was a little tyke, whispers in the family hinted at something fishy. His mom always brushed it off, shutting down the convo with a firm, "Maurice is your dad." End of story. But wait, there's more to this story. Keep watching.
It started around like I was 9 years old. I kept hearing rumors from outside family members that Maurice might not be my father or I might not be his son.
Your Honor, he never asked me. Had my son asked me, I would have told him.
I told her, you know, I came to her and asked her. She always told me, Maurice is your father.
And then, the plot thickens. Miss Moore is on the defensive, tackling accusations that she never faced questions about the paternity thing. She claims she'd have told the truth if only her son had asked straight up. But she also didn't want Granny throwing a fit, so she kept it zipped. Things are about to get even juicier, so don't go anywhere.
He never asked me. Quite honestly, if my son had asked me, I would have told him, but I would have also told him not to say anything because I didn't want my mother to know. My mother has rejected my daughter. Yes, I didn't want another child rejected. I grew up stern with those beliefs that a child out of wedlock was not going to be accepted by her.
Oh boy, here's where it gets awkward. A random family reunion at the corner store uncovers the secret. When trying to connect a family member with his dad over the phone, the relative acts clueless, triggering Mr. Weeks to confront his mom for the real scoop. This revelation was like dropping a hot potato. Now watch as it gets even hotter.
I went to the corner store, you know, just give me some. I see another family member of mine. He asked me how my father was. I told him he's doing fine. You want to talk to him? He said yes. So I went in my pocket, brought my phone out, called him right there on the spot. As soon as he got on the phone, he said, "Oh, my bad. I got the wrong number." He gave me back the phone. No, we had a little awkward moment, like...
Basically, he was implying Maurice wasn't your father.
Right.
Now, Miss Moore takes the stage to lay out her emotional roller coaster of a life story. She talks about the tough choices she had to make to keep her family together with Maurice, who stepped up as the dad figure despite the secrets. She's laying it all out there, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. It's a doozy.
A couple of months ago, he broke out. He came into town. I didn't even know my son was coming into town. He came out with it. I told him. I didn't know. Had he asked me at 9, if he had said anything at 18 when he graduated, yes, I still would have told him, but I would have still said, don't tell your grandmother.
Get ready for some serious feels. Miss Moore dives deep into her soul, sharing how heavy this secret has weighed on her all these years. She paints a picture of a time when family shame was a big no-no, and keeping this kind of secret was her way of shielding her kids from grandma's harsh judgments. The emotional floodgates are open, and there's more coming down the river.
When I was living with 2 other children, plus Earl, with a man who accepted my children, who Earl know for a fact had a baby from 6 months old to 5 years old. Earl was on the road with this man. He bonded with this man. He loved this man. Jackie, I will be there for your children through everything. That I wasn't going to jeopardize my other children just for one.
Here comes a truth bomb that shakes everything up. Miss Moore finally admits to doubting Mr. Weeks' paternity as he grew up looking less and less like Maurice. This confession is a gut punch to everyone involved, and she regrets the pain it caused. Hang on, because the next part of this saga is a real tearjerker.
In a very short time frame, like maybe 24 to 48 hours. And then it became more doubtful as Earl started growing, and I noticed the difference.
So this has been a painful secret for you to just hold in.
My whole life I had doubts, yes, because I noticed things with Earl that wasn't a part of Maurice, didn't resemble Maurice. I lived it with him.
Just when you think it's all been said, Mr. Weeks lays his heart on the line. He expresses how crushed he is by the ongoing deception and how it's messed with his head and home life. The feels are real, folks. And guess what? There's an even bigger reveal just around the corner.
Mr. Weeks, did you grow up loving Maurice?
I grew up crazy about this man. Like I had to be in his pocket just to make sure he don't leave me.
That's true.
It hurt that I had to come, both of them, I had to come to them about it.
I can imagine that it's not hurting you, but also your relationship, and for that I would love to have you stand, ma'am.
Tempers flare and things get heated. As Miss Moore clashes with Mr. Weeks' fiancé, who calls her out for keeping such a massive secret, the judge has to step in to cool everyone down. It's like a soap opera in here, and the next scene is guaranteed to be just as spicy.
I would never hold anything from my children. You was wrong for that.
Okay, and now accept being wrong because I can accept it from my son, but I don't owe you nothing.
You owe me everything.
I don't owe you nothing. I didn't sleep with you. I didn't make no babies with you. It's never too late for a mother to love her child. It is never too late.
Hold on to your popcorn. Here comes the grand finale.
Weeks, the man who has raised you for the past 29 years is not your biological father. Help her.
Okay? No, don't change her too much.
Judge Lake addresses Ms. Hauser's claim that her ex-husband, Mr. Campbell, walked out on her and their son Michael over 3 decades ago. Ms. Hauser asserts that Michael has faced significant medical challenges since childhood, which prompts her request for a DNA test to confirm paternity and possibly understand Michael's health issues.
Ms. Hauser, you claim your ex-husband unexpectedly walked out on you when your son, Michael Campbell, was 5 months old. You say your son has had medical problems since he was a child, and you have petitioned the court for a DNA test in order to hopefully find a solution for a life-debilitating condition.
Mr. Campbell counters Ms. Hauser's claims by expressing his long-held belief that he is not the father of her son, Michael. He anticipates that the DNA test results will vindicate him by proving he is not related, thus clearing his name from associated responsibilities and claims.
Mr. Campbell, you say you never believed the plaintiff's son belonged to you, and today's result will prove your case and clear your name.
The court delves into the background of Ms. Hauser and Mr. Campbell's relationship, which began in high school. Despite knowing Ms. Hauser was pregnant, Mr. Campbell agreed to an elopement influenced by familial pressures and their young love, even though he harbored doubts about being the biological father.
Mr. Campbell and I met when I was a junior and he was a senior in high school. What ended up happening was mid to late July, early August, I became pregnant. We discussed it, figured out to get married. We eloped because Mr. Campbell's father hated me.
Really?
Absolutely could not abide me.
A pivotal moment arises when Mr. Campbell reveals that he never believed he was Michael's father, leading Judge Lake to question the rationale behind signing the birth certificate and his subsequent actions, including an attempt to seek custody post-divorce.
You did not?
No, I never believed for 1 second it was.
If Mr. Campbell was not Michael's father, why did he sign the birth certificate? Why, when we got divorced and his family tried to get custody of Michael?
Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, ma'am. I was in basic training in the Army when Michael was born.
Did anybody bring a copy of this birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Mr. Campbell admits he knew from the start of their marriage that Michael was not his child, raising questions about his motives for marrying Ms. Hauser and the authenticity of their relationship, given the complexities surrounding Michael's conception and birth.
You're saying you knew soon as when you married her that this wasn't your child. So why marry a woman pregnant with another man's child and you don't believe there's any possibility that it's yours?
She was my first love, and we were kids, and I thought, we would make the perfect high school romance, live together forever, ignorance is youth kind of thing.
Ms. Hauser recounts the deterioration of their marriage after moving to South Carolina, detailing how financial and custodial struggles emerged shortly after Michael's birth, culminating in Mr. Campbell's abrupt departure and their eventual divorce.
Mr. Campbell in South Carolina while he was enlisted. And then when Michael was 4 months old, I moved into a mobile home court, a boyfriend and a girlfriend and one of their friends, and Michael and I. It was a 3-bedroom. There was nothing going on between any of us. It was just cheaper to live that way.
The moment of truth arrives.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Campbell, you are not the father.
Oh my.
Mr. Jones starts off the courtroom drama by throwing down the gauntlet, challenging the paternity of Ms. Milan's 3-month-old munchkin, Quinnell Jr. He's been playing daddy to her +6, and now he's got a $1,500 bill for her for rooming. Ms. Milan's in a tight spot, admitting she might have played the field a bit too freely.
You and your mother are co-plaintiffs who have brought the defendant, Ms. Milan, to court to prove her 3-month-old son, Quinnell Jr., is not your biological child. You claim you took Ms. Milan and her other 6 kids into your home, and now she's trying to take you for a ride by claiming this baby is yours.
Ms. Milan is standing her ground, insisting Mr. Jones is the real daddy, despite the mess and stress. He's up against Mr. Jones's mom, too, who's not buying what Ms. Milan is selling for 1 minute. The court's heating up with all these fiery exchanges, and no one's backing down.
Ms. Milan, though you do admit to cheating on Mr. Jones with another man, you say you're unsure if you were already pregnant when you cheated. You say you're here today to prove to Mr. Jones and his meddling mother, once and for all, that Mr. Jones is without a doubt the biological father of baby Quinnell Jr.
As the plot thickens, Ms. Milan spills the beans about their bedroom blunders and Mr. Jones's supposed infertility. Yeah, he was told as a teen he couldn't father kids. Both are tossing out accusations like hot potatoes, with trust in short supply, drama on the rise. Court's in session, and everyone's leaning in to hear the dirt.
Of having unprotected sex would be that you would become pregnant.
He always said he couldn't have children, that the doctor told him.
Why'd you say you couldn't have children, Mr. Jones?
Because I used to play sports in school, have a full body physical, and they told me that I wasn't able to have kids.
So during a physical, they told you you would be unable to have children?
Yes, ma'am.
The tension's palpable as Ms. Milan lays out the timeline of her pregnancy, pointing fingers at both Mr. Jones and her ex. Timing is everything, and hers is as tight as a late-night talk show monologue. With everyone on edge, the room's buzzing about who the real daddy could be.
You found out she was pregnant. Even though she said it could be yours or it could be my ex's, did you step up?
I wanted to make sure if it's a possibility of being my child, I want to be able to go back and tell these stories and say I was there doing this. When he was being born, I'm right there holding her hand, watching everything.
I was at the hospital, like I told my son, just be there until we find out otherwise, because I raised him without a father.
Here comes the moment of truth, and boy, it's a bombshell.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jones, you are not the father.
So, here's a twist no one saw coming. Ms. Tucker drops a bombshell, revealing the earth-shattering news that the defendant, Mr. Hunter, might actually be her biological dad after all. This shocker came out of nowhere a decade ago, and her mom spilled the beans, even though she'd grown up believing another guy was her pops. Let's see how Mr. Hunter takes this curveball.
Miss Tucker, you believed another man was your dad until a bomb was dropped on you 10 years ago when your mother admitted that the defendant is your biological father. You opened your case to prove to Mr. Hunter that he is your dad.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. Mr. Hunter isn't buying it yet. He's got a truckload of doubts about being Ms. Tucker's old man, thanks to some past drama where Ms. Tucker's mom said he wasn't the father. His standoffish vibes and skepticism about the whole dad deal just add more spice to the drama stew. You won't want to miss what's up next.
Mr. Hunter, you admit you have distanced yourself from the plaintiff because you have serious doubts you are her father. Miss Tucker, you admit you initially lied to your daughter, but claim you and Mr. Hunter have always known that he is her father.
Talk about a paternity rodeo. Ms. Tucker lays out her struggle to pin down Mr. Hunter for a DNA test, which he's dodged not once, but twice, like a pro. All this runaround has left her with a major identity crisis and a bucket load of stress. Buckle up because her mom's about to throw in her 2 cents.
Few years, I have been trying to get Charles to do a DNA test with me. I scheduled a test, he didn't show up, and it's just a lot of confusion in my own mind and very traumatic to me. I'm trying to figure out if he's my father or not to close this chapter in my life because I grew up thinking someone else was my father.
Here comes the plot twist. Mom, aka Ms. Tucker, fesses up to fibbing about the daddy details to shield her daughter from what she thought was Mr. Hunter's bad influence. This mommy confession session opens up a can of worms about the tangled web of family ties they're all caught up in. Get ready, because the emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
I wanted to find out who her father really is also. Well, I had doubts because her mother told me that I wasn't 30 years ago, so.
Miss Tucker, you hear your daughter speak? You say you and Mr. Hunter have always known that he was her biological father.
Yes, Your Honor. I told her that someone else was her father at the time in order to protect her. I felt like Mr. Hunter was not a good role model.
You're not gonna believe this. Imagine finding out over a phone call that the guy you thought was your dad isn't. That's the kind of soap opera twist Ms. Tucker faced in 5th grade, shaking up her world and giving her a serious case of the Who's My Daddy blues. Stick around because the plot thickens even more.
I was in the 5th grade and his sister had came and got me one weekend like she always did. They were on the phone and I was over listening to their conversation with her telling him that, and it was my first time ever talking to him. I was really excited, but I wanted to know, where was he? Why was he not around? And that's when he told me that my mom was not being honest with me.
Just when you thought it couldn't get weirder. As a teen, Ms. Tucker bumps into a lady who drops another dad bomb, suggesting Mr. Hunter could be her real father. But plot twist, Mom waves it off as gossip, thickening the plot and the family mystery. The tea is piping hot, and Mr. Hunter's about to give his side of the story.
I was in the 7th grade. Where we're from is very small, so I was at a store. There's a woman who knows them both. Told me, she said, you look just like your dad. So I go, oh, you know my dad? And I said his name, and she goes, that's not your dad. So I went home, and I did tell my mom what she said, but my mom just said she was lying, so she didn't know what she was talking about.
Crank up the drama dial. Mr. Hunter rewinds the tape to his younger days when he and Ms. Tucker's mom were an item, and she told him the baby wasn't his. This led him to peace out for over a decade, leaving room for rumors, half-truths to fill the void. Fasten your seatbelts. His school visit confession is a real jaw-dropper.
She told me she was pregnant. She said the baby wasn't mine. I left and I got my life together. And I stayed gone for 15, 16 years. I came back to North Carolina hearing rumors that she was mine. So what am I supposed to do when someone tells me I'm not the father? I move on with my life.
But even though he's saying he went off what my mom said, I was in middle school and the young woman that is like his daughter.
Did he just say that? In a surprise school visit, Mr. Hunter claims he's Ms. Tucker's dad, flipping the script and stirring up a whole new level of family drama. This bombshell leads to heated discussions about who's responsible for the truth in their tangled tale. The DNA results are just around the corner, and they're gonna be a doozy.
So, Mr. Hunter, did you show up at the school and tell Miss Tucker I'm your father?
That was a long time ago. I vaguely remember that conversation when she was at that school.
You don't pull a child out of school
father.
and then tell him a joke that I think I'm your father. So that's not gonna fly with me. Come with some new testimony that makes sense.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hunter, you are not the father.
So, we're kicking things off with a bang. Ms. Smith marches into court, ready to prove to her fiancé, Mr. Hopkins, that he is indeed the daddy of their adorable 2-year-old munchkin, Kamya. She's all in, betting everything that the DNA test will call him Papa. Buckle up, it's about to get wild.
Miss Smith, you've petitioned the court today to prove to your fiancé that he is the biological father of your beautiful 2-year-old daughter, Kamaya. Mr. Hopkins, you don't believe that you are Kamaya's biological father and say today's negative result would end all wedding plans.
Yes, Your Honor.
And boom, Mr. Hopkins drops a truth bomb. He's not buying the daddy title so easily because, get this, Ms. Smith has tossed out "you're not the father" a few times during their spats. Yep, it's like something straight out of a daytime TV drama with less hair pulling. Just wait till you hear what's next.
I got doubt for my own reasons. For one, she told me herself a couple of times, numerous of times, that in an argument that Kamaya wasn't mine. And
just to make you mad, it wasn't to...
That ain't how you do it.
You said that, Miss Smith? You said Kamaya's not your child?
Your Honor, I done threw birthday parties for Kamaya. A second birthday party I threw for her. I provided.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. Things get spicy. As Ms. Smith admits she's been playing the "you are not the dad" card just to get under Mr. Hopkins' skin during their arguments. It's her go-to move in the argument playbook, apparently. But oh, the plot thickens. Mr. Hopkins has a receipt for every diaper he's ever bought. Let's see how this financial drama unfolds.
What does it profit you
just
to tell a man that you truly believe is your child's father during an argument that he's not?
It was to make him mad because I know that really bothers him because he
and now he's countersuing you for $2,500 because now that he feels doubtful as to whether the child is his, he wants the money back that he's given to help support her.
Oh, snap. Mrs. Smith confesses to a little side hustle with her ex around the time little Kamya was conceived. The audience gasps, the judge raises an eyebrow, and suddenly, it's not just a paternity test we need. It's a full-blown soap opera script. Don't touch that dial. Drama level is about to skyrocket.
Why didn't you tell him, Miss Smith?
I ain't tell him because I cheated. With my previous kid's father. Around the time I got pregnant with Kamaya, I went and slept with him twice.
Without protection?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, bam, evidence time. Posts from Mrs. Smith's ex are making the rounds, claiming he's the real daddy. Mr. Hopkins' face must have been a picture. This courtroom has turned into a circus, and the clowns are just getting started.
Oh, this is a post from her ex saying
that
the wifey and our new baby Kamaya. You testify that you have no doubt that Mr. Hopkins is Kamaya's father.
I do feel he's her father. She looked like him, like they eyes, they nose.
Your ex been excluded by a previous DNA test?
No.
Time for the main event, the verbal smackdown. Both sides are throwing everything but the kitchen sink across the courtroom. It's a he said, she said showdown that could rival any reality TV show finale. And guess what? The next part is the cherry on top of this courtroom sundae.
She just a he and ha and holding hands with him. I was like, girl, stop the madness. Did you or did you not have on a red and white top with some red and white pants? But that wasn't you.
Before. No, look. Wait a minute,
Well, wait a minute.
She's that
Well,
one,
would
so all
that
that is a lie.
Wouldn't that only lend credibility
But why would
to
you
her
say yeah,
testimony
then?
that she knew it was you if she knew you had that outfit?
Feel me?
She a lie.
Tell the truth.
No,
were you
no,
were you
I was
there?
not at no Applebee's.
Okay.
The tension could be cut with a knife. DNA results time. Everyone's on the edge of their seats, waiting to see if Mr. Hopkins is the father or just a guest star in this family drama. The envelope, please. And prepare yourself, because this revelation is a doozy.
You got something to say, man? Seem like you do. Keep on you holding us up. I want to know.
I don't want to
know
lose
now.
my family, but she ain't yours. What I tell you?
So what I took for all this for you to tell me this?
I don't think she yours. I don't know, man. I don't want to lose you.
Do you want the truth or do you not?
I would like the truth.
The moment of truth arrives with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer.
Mr. Hopkins, you are not Kamaya's father.
Guess what's popping off today? Judge Lake kicks off the show with the case of Commons versus Baker, where Ms. Commons is dragging Mr. Baker to court to nail down paternity for her daughter, Reza. Ms. Commons is totally over it, saying Mr. Baker was all daddy mode at first, but now he's acting all brand new because he thinks she cheated.
Ms. Commons, you claim the defendant has been denying your 2-year-old daughter Breeze and refuses to do anything for her. You are furious and testify that you are certain he is the father and plan to prove that today.
Here's where the tea starts spilling. Mr. Baker drops the bomb that he started doubting he's Breeze's dad after a previous courtroom drama on Couples Court showed Ms. Commons might have played him. The audience is eating it up, and you can cut the tension with a knife.
Mr. Baker, you claim you were a loving father for the first 1.5 years of Breeze's life until 5 months ago when you appeared in Couples Court and learned Ms. Commons cheated. You say Ms. Commons is a liar, but the DNA does not lie and will prove that you are not Breeze's biological father.
Things are heating up now. Ms. Commons spills about how Mr. Baker's new attitude is messing with their toddler, Brez. She says Brez is all about hugs and cuddles, and Mr. Baker's cold shoulder is breaking hearts left and right.
He know how my baby is affectionate. My baby got a skin fetish. She like to rub on people. So that hurt my feelings when he be like, go to your mama, and she be like, and she wants you. She knows
and that makes
you
emotional when
exactly. It makes me emotional because the way she loves us, like the way she rubs his face. They got this little nose thing that they do. He be like, give me your nose, and she just be so happy. She be smiling and everything. She loves her dad.
Boy, oh boy, check this out. Mr. Baker is seriously bugged by Ms. Commons' sketchy past, claiming all her secret texts and mystery calls got him wondering if little Breeze is even his. This bit is chock full of suspicion and side-eye.
First of all, I got doubts because everything that come out of her mouth a lie. All the stuff she did in the past, just cheating with multiple people. Cheating with multiple people. I could catch her like, if her phone bing, she hide it.
If my phone bing,
people steady.
You just want it. It could be, if my phone bing, it could be Jesus Christ. He gonna think it's I'm sleeping with.
Oh my gosh.
It's an exclusive.
All right.
Y'all won't believe this plot twist. In a wild move, Mr. Baker pretends he's out for the night to see if Ms. Commons would invite another dude over. And surprise, surprise, he catches her with another guy. Talk about a loyalty test gone wrong. Strap in, because there's more drama ahead.
On 2 different days, though. It was a weekend, right? Basically, I'm gonna say this. One weekend, right, Friday, I'm going out, I go hang with the homies or whatever. She called me like around 5 something. But I'm trying to test her and see how loyal she is,
You
right?
don't have to test nobody
So
that you're in a
look, I'm
relationship
trying to see
with.
how loyal she is. 3 in the morning. Knock on the door, she come to the window, guy walk right out. Wasn't nothing open up in there that night but leg. Feel me? She
Well, no
say she
legs
ain't
open
did
up
nothing.
that night.
Just when you think it can't get any crazier, Mr. Baker's sister steps up and throws even more shade on Ms. Commons, saying she's seen her running around with different dudes. It's like a soap opera with these two, honestly.
Me and Mary been friends, best friends, for 10 years. We used to run the streets together, which means like we was double dating, kicking it, going back to the clubs and stuff. And to fast forward about that,
we get down together. If that's the case, why you ain't been tell your brother like, don't get down with her, we got down together?
I did tell my brother, but he was 19 about telling him about you.
No,
and I felt like that you was just older and you taking advantage of him.
Now, the moment of truth, everyone's on the edge of their seat as Judge Lake reads out the paternity test results, and boom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Baker, you are the father.